Welcome to the Humanergy Leadership Podcast, where we tackle your toughest leadership challenges and share practical tools to help you lead with impact.
All right, welcome to the True Success Blueprint, a special podcast series celebrating Humanergy's 25th anniversary. I'm Mimi, and I'll be your host for this journey. Over the next few episodes, we'll explore the 8 True Success Goals that have shaped how we lead, serve, and grow as a company, and we believe that they can do the same for you. And today I'm joined by John and David, Humanergy's co-founders and architects behind these goals. Hey, John. Hey, David.
Hey, Mimi.
Hey, Mimi.
So let's start from the beginning. You've been leading Humanergy for 25 years. And what made you feel like you needed to define these true success goals?
Well, so Dave and I met at a sort of like a pre-Humanergy, which was a program called Evergreen. We had a team, but we were part of a larger organization. And then in 2000, when we had the chance to head out on our own and to start Humanergy, we got some counsel and we got some help from a mentor, Ron Owens, to really sort of set up the framework, the deep framework for the organization. Now, initially, we looked at, like mission, vision, values, strategy as a framework. And we were not making a lot of progress there. I think we got tangled up in wordsmithing and creating statements that were sort of, generic and didn't feel like they had punch or value, that wouldn't necessarily guide us in decision making, etc. So as a framework, that wasn't helpful. So we actually reached back a little bit into our own toolkit, and we created an idea called True Success, which was the set of goals that enable long-term and sustained success. And we thought, well, let's restart our journey and begin there, and essentially say, when Humanergy is everything we want it to be in the future, what will be the chief components, the characteristics of Humanergy. And then that actually became a very productive and easy conversation. And it just really went bang, 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 bang. And we came out with the initial 7 components, which we'll talk about in a moment. And I mean, the good news is that framework is essentially, predominantly unchanged for 25 years because of its power and its staying power. So that's my memory. I don't know, Dave, what would you want to add to that?
The piece I'd add is that true success is built from usually a stakeholder map. And you can learn more about stakeholder mapping in episode 161 of the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. But that's when we sit down and say, okay, let's just look at all the people or groups who have a stake in the success of this project, in this case, Humanergy, and then step into each of those stakeholders' shoes and say, what would success look like from their perspective? And when you've got that set, that then tells you what you need to achieve to be successful. And that's what then emerges into the 8 things that we've had as our true success, because it's a combination. It is, as John said, a set. It's not a hierarchy or prioritized one over another. It's just, hey, we have to achieve these things in order to be successful for all of our stakeholders, which include clients and team members, and including me and John and our families, who were, when we're sat around, that was the priority. It's how do we sustain this for us and our families and the clients that wanted to come with us.
Great. So we would love to hear each of these true success goals in your definitions of each one. I'll let you guys take that away.
I tell you what, Dave, we'll do a 1-1. How's that? 1 for 1. So I'll pick the first one. And our first one really speaks to ultimately how we want to be in the world, how we want to impact the world. So it is ensure greater good in the world, and we define that as for us by improving the lives of the individuals we work with, and thus the people and the organizations they touch, and and this is a more recent addition, very important though, improving the systemic reality by being people who stand up, challenge, and proactively fight to ensure equity, inclusivity, and opportunity for all. So that's at the very, heart of what we want to be in the world. Dave?
Well, the second one is more simple in terms of it's just financial security and freedom. And it really comes from, can we make ourselves financially comfortable enough to do the things that we want to do and make sure we're investing in the things in the future as well. And so it really summarizes how we want to be as an organization financially is let's push out as much of our resources as we can to our team in a way that allows them the freedom to make choices that they want to make. But then let's also make sure we're making smart investments to sustain the organization as we move forward.
Yeah. Could I add to that one? Because it isn't, I mean, and this has been part of our decision making throughout. I mean, it isn't like maximize return on investment for the stakeholders. Like, it isn't a more is better. It is certainly people feel like they're fundamentally secure, and they're not going to sleep worried at night, and that they have the ability and freedom to make decisions. And so that decoupling from, I guess, for want of a different word, selfishness or maximization of, money, profit, and that being like the thing that you always are pursuing, etc., I think was important in being able to optimize the set of results. And that'll become more clear as we talk about this further.
All right.
You've got the third one now, John.
I do. No, yes. Sorry. I jumped in there. Okay. So, as Dave spoke about, stakeholders, people who we impact and also impact us. That is, we are intimately connected. And so they are inherently part of the true success. And we called out our clients are delighted with the value and support we provide. And so, obviously, our work is with clients. They're the ones who pay the bills per se. Within that, that we work with individuals, and that really is covered in we ensure greater good in the world by improving the lives of the individuals and we work with. But when it comes to sort of clients, that is the organizations, teams that we work with, we don't want them just to think, oh, that was good. We want them to be delighted. We want them to think, wow. We want them to think, these guys are absolutely fantastic and, integral to our success.
The fourth one then is a healthy client base. And we describe that as having a depth of long-term partnerships, a full pipeline, and a broad base. And those three things are all worth digging into a little bit. The long-term partnerships is just the way we see our work. We don't want to be a one-off. I did a 4-hour training here. Thank you very much. We're out of here. We want to be a partner to an organization so that we can support that organization with its needs and be complementary and understand the organization well enough that they see us as a resource. And as a great example of that, there's one credit union that we worked with for 17 years, I think it is now. It had $225 million in assets when we started working with it, and it's now up to 1.7 billion in assets and nearly 500 employees. We've partnered with them for 17 years, and that partnership has evolved. It's changed as they've grown their internal capability. we've supported them in different ways and different places. But now I would say we're seen as an extension of their team as and when they need that extension. And because we know them well enough, that's allowed us to do that. So that's that partnership piece. The second one is that full pipeline. And that's really the nature of our kind of business is some organizations just naturally time out. Sometimes we've seen this where it's been a merger and the larger organization has their own leadership development team. And so we get pushed out there. Sometimes it's a matter of we're doing work in one section of an organization and it's been successful. And when it comes to the attention of the larger organization, they want somebody bigger to take that on and move on. So there's a natural flow to clients in this kind of business. And so we're constantly looking for where's new opportunity for us to partner with people and provide value, and who are those opportunities, and are we actively going out and demonstrating to them the value that we can potentially provide. So that's part of our business development. And then the third one, the broad base, actually stems from our history again, as John talked about our previous existence. We found that we were 40% in cereal manufacturing and 40% in automotive. And in actual fact, worse than that, they were just two clients. And when you're that embedded in a client, that's highly vulnerable. It's a big risk there. And in actual fact, we saw it where one person came in at an executive level, suddenly said no outside consultants, and that was a massive chunk of our business walked out of the door in one day. And so we've constantly pushed for this breadth so that the no one client is significantly could do big damage to us. And we've pushed that actually over 25 years, so that I think it started with no one client more than 50%, and then it went to no three clients more than 50%. And I think at the latest check, it was actually our top 8 clients don't make up the 50% because we've got that breadth. And that's really just creating sustainability and stability for everybody, both internally and to be able to keep supporting our clients.
Mm-hmm. So, the next one is a thriving Humanergy network. And we describe that as a network of curious, talented, diverse professionals who are having fun, continuously developing, renewing, realizing their potential, and enriching each other's worlds. And this comes from deep in our DNA. And in fact, when we came to name the organization, we asked, what is absolutely essential to what we're all about? And we ended up with Humanergy as the name of the organization, and it came from the combination of human-centric, and synergy. 1 + 1 is 3 or more. And so there's a deep recognition that we obviously want to help people unleash their full potential as individuals, and that we are more and better and stronger when we are in a network of like-minded people who are looking to grow and contribute to each other's success and, feed that. And so we want to be part of that. We want to build that. We want to be leaders in that. We want to promote that and, also benefit from that as well. It's a core part of the work that we do.
What we're up to 6th one is impactful intellectual assets that are fundamentally sound, innovative, cutting edge, effective, and world class. And this is really about materials. And a lot of organizations like us will buy a bucket of material from a large company and deliver that. We've never really been that way. We've always looked to create our own materials and create an engine for doing that through our coaching work and into our internal learning, and then back out in terms of materials and tools. And really, it's not rocket science. It's not that John and I sit there and think about stuff and we think hard enough, we come up with something. It's all from our work and observing and seeing and and capturing what we're seeing in the work that then we bring back to the team and refine. But it's about something that's practical and useful. Even down to the fact that I had a client that subscribed to the Harvard Business Review a number of years ago, and he stopped subscribing because he said, what I've found is if there's anything in there that's interesting or worthwhile, you'll share it with me. And sometimes you'll share a simplified version that's much more practical and adaptable to my work. And that's what we've really thrived on is here's something that's interesting, it's piqued our interest, but then we've applied it to our work and we've come up with something that hopefully is simple, adoptable, and people can grab hold of and immediately use. And we see that as being part of what keeps us going. And that innovative is that it constantly is updating. If you worked with us for 25 years, you've seen our tools evolve and emerge and change because we keep learning and keep throwing those things out to our clients. Many of these you can see on the Humanergy website. In the tools freebies drop down, you'll see some of the things that are core to our work.
Yeah. So the next one is our people, and in this case, we are now focusing on the stakeholder group that is, our team. And we sort of, we have our core team, and then we have sort of our extended team or our core family, extended family. And we want our people are living mindful, purposeful, and balanced lives. And Dave, you might correct me, but my memory of this actually came after a couple of years, and even though it was really implicit in how we practice, we realized more and more that, the power of people, which was our original, logo, is absolutely the power of humanity, and that, we need to treasure and walk the talk of ensuring that our team is absolutely living their best lives. Because if they are living their best lives, they are the instrument of, quote unquote, ensuring greater good in the world. And that comes from being at your best. And that means that we need to treasure it, nurture it, protect it. And so then we really said, hey, this is crucial to the equation, if you like. We need to add it in, and we need to be like paying attention to this, constantly, because, we get excited. And sometimes when you get excited, you take on stuff and you take on more, and then sometimes you can come to a point where you realize, okay, maybe I took on a little too much. So we're always constantly monitoring ourselves and ensuring that people have the time and the space in their work, but also at home to, like I said, be their best and live their best.
I think when we started, that was our people are living balanced lives. And then over the 25 years, we've added the purposeful and mindful into that. And the balanced life was just a matter of we don't want to work that hard, that we're not getting to see the family and do all the other things. It was important to both John and I that we had much more of a Eurocentric kind of approach to work was a part of life, but it wasn't the be all and end all. And so that even drove decisions like our vacation policy, and it's, I think, quite generous compared to most American organizations, and even some structural pieces that restrict how much work we as delivery people can do, because we know that has an impact on balance, not just in the individual and their home life, etc., but in supporting the sustainability of the organization. The last one is lean, scalable performance infrastructure, which we were joking about, didn't need an explanation, but we found one, which is really about eliminating wasteful activity, maximizing our best impact where we can, where our investments are, and standardizing our processes and systems that enable easy growth, relatively speaking. And actually, one of the people who, in my mind, has demonstrated this the most since joining us is our host today, Mimi, who has taken some of our finance and the system that runs the business and really simplified it in such a way that it's easy to manage and somebody else could step in and take it over at a minute's notice. And that's even been proven out as she's taken vacations to Europe and adventures, and other people have backfilled because it was so easy to do. I think that was a great example of what we mean by this.
Yeah, I can say firsthand that I have benefited from all of these 8 True Success Goals. So they are working. They are fantastic. And just as a quick reminder to everyone listening, they all work together as a set. And I think that's really important to keep in mind as you listen through this whole series. So quick question before we wrap up. Can you think of a moment where one of these goals really made a difference in a decision or a challenge?
Just as John's thinking of that moment, I just want to go back to that set piece. And the word "and" is between each of these 8. We've had long road trips at different times in our career, and sometimes we ask silly questions just to occupy the time when we're not singing Bohemian Rhapsody really badly in the car. But one of the questions that we've asked at one point was, what's the most powerful word in leadership? And quite often the answer that we would come back with is "and." For a whole host of reasons, one of which being this idea of a set and the identifying a set that is real is the true picture rather than the natural hierarchy or prioritization that we might have.
Mm. So just to add to that set idea real quick is when you optimize the set, right? It's not a prioritization. It's not like, well, if push comes to shove, we do this one and then this one, and then, it's a trade-off, etc. It's really recognizing that these things are literally working together and that they have to work together. We use a simple example actually when we talk about this with clients, which is what happens if how would you prioritize, breathing, drinking water, and eating?
Eating.
Yeah, and people come to realize that in a moment you might say, well, I have to probably drink water because or breathe air maybe because that's the one that really gets me. But at the end of the day, those 3 are requirements. And so these 8 are requirements. And so it's really, they're aspects of a holistic, connected unit or set. I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
So back to your question, Mimi, so we can get this and wrap up, which is...
Yeah. So just can you think of one moment where these goals really made a difference in a decision or a challenge? I mean, maybe it's a silly question too, because I would argue that they make a difference every day in every decision. But can you think of anything specifically?
Do you want to go
I was
down?
going to go there because
Yeah.
in about 2009, 2010, the economy was down. I aforementioned person that came into a large organization and said no more consultants. For one reason or another, about 80% of our business walked out the door in a span of about 6 to 9 months. And so one of the things we did, because this is all visible, everything in our organization is transparent. We got the team together and said, look, this is happening. This is true success. How do we manage through this? And in engaging the team and engaging around these 8 pieces, it was amazing to see how involved and how committed the team were to sustainable success. And even things like our previous business manager said, hey, I think I can get done what I need to get done in 3 days. And so, and that gives me a chance to go be a grandparent as well. So that works for me. And it was like, holy cow, people are just trying to live this. And a crisis situation comes up, and the whole team was demonstrating living these 8 things in helping us resolve and get through that situation. Happened again a little bit in 2020 when COVID hit. We went through the same kind of situation. But we always come back to this is what we're trying to achieve, and how do we continue to achieve this even with this crisis situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the one I'm going to pick, since Dave just stole mine, um, is I'm going to pick our people living mindful, purposeful, and balanced lives. The story of humanity that certainly has bumps along the way. Dave mentioned a major bump. But the dominant theme of humanity has been success and growth. And there has been plenty of times when, quote unquote, there's been pressure on our capacity. And we had, more work than, we could comfortably handle. And the thing is that it wasn't so much about the income as much as we love the work that we do, and any opportunity to get in front of clients and work with them is just awesome. So it's sort of like foregoing work is more of a heartache than anything. So really recognizing and living into the fact that you got to take care of the golden goose, right? If you want, continue the egg production. And so, if you go for the quick and easy win or the thing that's straight in front of you, it's self-defeating. And so I really think that, we have continually walked the talk on that. We've lived into that. We monitor that. We have measurement that actually tracks not just are we doing enough, but we also track literally, are we doing too much? And we make, decisions on a monthly, quarterly basis to make sure that we maintain the essential integrity of the organization. And I really, truly believe that's, at the heart of our ability to do great work and also to sustain it. And I really do think that our people are living mindful, purposeful, balanced, flourishing lives. So, and our clients sense it, they see that, and they experience it, which just feeds all the other pieces as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you've had folks stay here for 20 years and you've had folks work here and then come back. So it's definitely working. So thank you guys. That's what this series is all about. We've created 4 episodes, and each one covers 2 of the True Success Goals. You'll hear stories, lessons learned, and practical takeaways that you can apply to your own leadership journey. So whether you're leading a team, running a business, or simply trying to live and work more intentionally, we hope that these conversations inspire and equip you. So get ready for episode number 1. Thanks, John. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Mimi.
Thanks, Mimi.
Appreciate it.
That was the Humanergy Leadership Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe and visit humanergy.com for many more resources.